Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on First Alert 6 streaming on this Thursday morning. The big weather story is some light snow falling in the metro as we speak. And of course, it's during the morning commute, which is like double the trouble. Double the trouble.
Yeah, so working in our favor. I've seen crews that have been out and about treating the road, so that should help out some. Also, the snow seems like it's getting at least a little bit lighter. I still want you to use caution this morning, though, even though we were talking about those things maybe helping us out, because you look at 90th and West Dodge, there's that kind of sheen on the road that's showing up. That is kind of the thing that I'll be watching for that could create some issues and some slick spots. So be aware of that, and I think especially on bridges and overpasses where we're probably going to see more of that be an issue. You're heading out the door, we're at 16 degrees, so it's not exactly warm if you have any problems. A little bit of a breeze knocking that wind chill to 4 degrees, and it will in general be a colder day for us. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. But there's kind of the most consistent snow now that's lining up from Red Oak back towards the Plattsmouth, Nebraska City area, toward Lincoln and York. So if you're on I-80, you may notice issues between Omaha and Lincoln if you're going to be doing that drive shortly. And we'll continue to see that more consistent snow kind of wobble its way southward, but still seeing some flakes flying even where you have things looking a little bit lighter. And that kind of lines up with what this model run's showing. As we get toward about 9, 10 o'clock, we should continue to see things get lighter with that snow, and then really just tail it off to maybe flurries at most for the afternoon. Stays plenty cloudy, though. It's going to be a rather gray day, and as we get into the evening hours, we get another chance for some light snow to make its way in, particularly if you're closer to Norfolk, Columbus, maybe as far east as Wahoo, where we see that overnight. And I think it mainly stays confined there, and we should wrap it up pretty early for our Friday morning and try to avoid any kind of issues on the roads in the metro as we get into that time frame. But as far as how much we end up seeing, for this morning, we're mostly seeing our accumulation come to a close. You can see just that thin coating on some of the roads. Then with that second round tonight, you can see that it puts us pretty close to an inch for places like Norfolk and Columbus. So that's what the snow aspect of this is doing. Today, by the way, the graphic apparently got skipped, but 24 is where we end up for a high today. So colder than yesterday, even colder still tomorrow. 14 is where we stumble our way to after a start in the upper single digits. It's going to be a chilly day. When you add in north winds, it'll be gusting up around 25 miles per hour, especially early in the day. So that knocks our wind chill down below zero most of our Friday. Get ready for another kind of Arctic feel to the day as we head through Friday. Thankfully, pretty short-lived. As I mentioned, the wind's calm as we head into the night. We'll start off Saturday with temps that are below zero, but we'll be getting some recovery, end up about 22 for our high on Saturday. So a little bit of a better feel, at least, as the weekend goes on.
All right, so we get 2 rounds of snows today, but we're still not done. We have a chance for more snow this weekend.
But wait, there's more.
There's always more.
We get into Saturday night is when we get that next round that starts to make its way in. So let's take a look at that now. And it is going to be after we get past sunset where we start to push some of this into the area. Let me show you that here. There we go. A little bit of a lag there on the graphics, but a lot of cloud cover, and you can see it's just starting to enter some of our western towns as we get toward about 5 to 6 o'clock. It's more so as we get to about 8 or 9 where we start to see some of that snow in the metro. Continuing through the night, notice some of these deeper blues trying to show up just east of the metro as we get into the overnight hours. That's where we could see totals perhaps exceed an inch as we go into the overnight. Thankfully, this doesn't last too long. By the time we're getting to Sunday morning, we're starting to wind things down. But this will be another one that we're watching for light totals that create some traffic issues for those who are heading out on Sunday morning. So first alert to that potential. We'll continue to fine-tune that forecast and keep you posted here as we make our way into that next system's arrival. After that, probably takes a little bit more time to recover with temps, so I have lowered our highs to the 30s for the beginning of next week, but we get later in the forecast, you notice 40s are still there, and yipping up near 50 for Friday and Saturday. We may actually get a weekend there where it's Nice.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a few weekends. 2026 has kept us busy on the weekends.
For sure. Okay, let's get a check of the morning commute. We know it doesn't take a lot of snow to cause problems. Any issues out there right now?
Well, so far we haven't really had any word of crashes, which is great news so far. But we do have some slow areas as people are kind of using caution this morning to avoid anything that could create those kind of big problems. And I want to give you a view throughout the metro of what things look like. There's what it looks like downtown 480 and kind of seen a little bit of a sheen, but thankfully the snow not really sticking there. We've got that same kind of scenario going on Dodge with the view from our Children's Nebraska camera near 72nd. Very heavy traffic on I-80 at this point, right around 72nd. A few brake lights too. So that's one of the spots that has had some of the most delays, and you can see that really standing out with some of those yellow shadings in that area. We zoom in a little bit tighter. Now what you're seeing with the oranges, that's traffic with the construction zone and the snow impact. So that's why it's so slow on L. But some delays that are showing up on I-80 at this point. So I think a lot of what we're seeing out there is just people using extra caution, which is a great thing. And that's going to slow the commute down a little bit. So keep that in mind, maybe leave a little extra time for that drive as you're approaching I-80 on JFK is a little bit slow. We go further to the north and west. Blair High has been pretty consistently slow between State Street and 680 for much of the morning as well. So that's kind of the scenario that we're seeing. Some spots that slow down as people are using that extra caution. Again, haven't really had any alerts to any crashes so far, and hopefully we can avoid having those. But if we do have those, good idea to have the First Alert 6 news app because you will get push alerts when we have those that cause big issues.
Yeah, I like that people are taking their time though this morning.
Yeah, great approach.
All right, Jared, thank you. To your news now, 3 people are hospitalized after a crash that shut down northbound traffic on I-480. It happened in Leavenworth just after 8:45 last night. Omaha police tell First Alert 6 the crash involved a Toyota Camry and a Corolla. The Camry ended up flipping onto its top. According to investigators, the Camry's driver was pinned and had to be extricated. The other 2 people hospitalized were in the Corolla. Omaha police arrest a 13-year-old for a cutting that sent a relative to the hospital. It happened last night near 27th and Laurel. According to OPD, the victim is a 30-year-old man. Police took the teen into custody on assault and weapons charges. Authorities say the victim is expected to be okay. A former state senator wants Governor Pillen to be investigated by the Attorney General. Dan McEwen submitted the letter as a citizen. It comes after a report from State Auditor Mike Foley accused Pillen of favoritism. The report determined Pillen awarded a $2.5 million no-bid contract to a registered lobbyist he's associated with. McEwen says several areas of law might need review, including the state's bidding statutes and ethic requirements. McEwen resigned from his position with the legislature before an expulsion vote after he was cited for public indecency. Well, debate at the Unicam on who can use certain restrooms at your child's schools. Omaha Senator Kathleen Kauth introduced LB 730. It would restrict restrooms and locker rooms in schools based on sex at birth. If passed, transgender students would not have access to bathrooms that align with their gender identity in schools. Last year, a similar proposal was included in a bill addressing participation in sports teams. It was then removed in an amendment.
Our laws and policies should recognize and respect that males and females are biologically different. Respecting these biological differences is essential to ensuring the privacy, dignity, and safety of both sexes. Sex-specific showers, restrooms, and locker rooms are a common-sense solution to protect the bodily privacy and safety of all.
We oppose LB 730 because we believe that all students should be able to come to school feeling safe, secure, supported by their peers, and respected by their teachers and school administrators. We oppose this bill because it seeks to divide our students by telling some of them they are not welcome in certain areas of our schools.
Pillen weighing in on the bill. He says it protects the privacy rights and dignity of students, especially young women, in locker rooms and bathrooms. All right, at the safety desk with Maria Kay this morning with some good news. Americans are living longer. It's according to the new data from CDC.
Yeah, always good to hear that. Officials say that the overall life expectancy here in the U.S. actually rose to 79 years in 2024, and the CDC says this is the highest that age has ever been. They believe this is because of a drop in COVID-19 and drug overdose deaths. So the findings show that women can still expect to live a little bit longer than men, but that gap between genders is actually getting smaller. So female life expectancy, it inched up 0.3 of a year, just over 81 years old there. And as for the men, that increase was 0.7. Now they're at 76.5 years old.
Wow, that is good news. That's great news. All right, we have some more interesting news for you. The American Heart Association is finding a link between how late you stay up at night and your heart health.
Yeah, if you're a night owl, staying up really late, that can be really hard on your heart. There's new research that finds that people who are more active at night, when most people might be winding down or already asleep, have poorer overall heart health than the average person. So after tracking more than 300,000 people over 14 years, the night owls actually had a 16% higher risk of having a heart attack or a stroke compared to the average population. Experts say there is actually a mismatch between your internal clock and then those typical daily schedules when you stay up really late. So for example, when night owls wake up early for work, but they stay up late the night before, that's actually throwing off their metabolism, and it makes those healthy heart habits harder to maintain. But if this is you, there are some things that you can do. So the study's lead researcher says quitting smoking if you smoke, getting that consistent sleep, and trying to stick to the regular bedtime schedule can really, really help.
I don't know if they can help it. I guess they can try. I've had so many people text me since they saw your story, like, oh my gosh, that's me, I'm a night owl. All right, Maria Kay at the safety desk this morning. Thank you, and we're back after this. Welcome back, everybody. The big weather story this morning is that snow that's been falling. I guess it started falling around 4:30-ish, and it's been light falling ever since.
Yeah, we've kind of had some slight accumulation that's been trying out there. It's not all that much snow. I still don't want you to let your guard down, though. We have seen the rate of that snow come down a little bit. So good news if you are heading out the door as far as that is concerned. But we still want to be aware that there could be some slick spots, particularly on some of those bridges, overpasses. That's where I think we could have more issues. 15 degrees where we're at. It's not real warm out there. There's a little bit of a breeze, and it's feeling like 3. So It's going to be a colder day in general. We'll peak about 24 degrees for our high. There's the most consistent snow, and you can see that it is starting to make its way further to the south. Still think we could have a few snow showers over the next few hours, but the bulk of what we have already had is fallen, is going to just be very light snow for the next couple of hours before we tail that off toward just flurries for the afternoon. Lots of cloud cover all day long, helps to lock that cold in. And then as we get into tonight, if you're west of the metro, particularly around Highway 81, that's where you get the chance for some more of that snow to try to make its way in. Again, that's light snow that's falling through the night, and then you can see that make its way further south and make its way out as we get into the beginning of the day. So not much in the way of snow. We maybe get another 1/10 of an inch total in the metro. If you're closer to Norfolk, that's where you end up closer to an inch for what we see. Then the focus changes to the cold as we really struggle for our temps. Tomorrow, 14 is where we top out, and we'll have a north wind that's gusting as well, up around 25 miles per hour. That makes those wind chills most of the day stay below zero. We get a little improvement for Saturday, but then we have another round of snow that comes in for Saturday night into Sunday morning. So let's walk through this real quick, and you can see there's tomorrow how it unfolds. Pretty consistent with the temperatures all day long. That breeze does us no favors either, and that keeps the wind chill pretty low all day long. We get a little bit of improvement in the wind overnight, and that's good because the temperature itself will dip briefly below zero by the time we get to Saturday morning, and we'd really be suffering with the wind chills if we had that breeze. Start the day Saturday with sunshine. Clouds will expand in as the day goes on, and here comes the next round of snow as we get into the evening hours for Saturday. We continue to swing that through as we go through the night, and even some deeper blues trying to show up in some of this, especially east of the metro. So you may pick up a little bit more from that round than what you see with today's round if you are in Iowa. And then we see that wrap up early on our Sunday. As far as how much we see, there you can see that little bit of a bullseye that shows up for some of us in Iowa. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll refine those forecasts, but maybe a little bit over an inch if you're in Iowa, closer to an inch elsewhere as a result of that round of snow. Then behind that, probably a little bit harder to warm things up. Unfortunately, had to lower the high temperature there for Monday. Groundhog Day will be in the 30s, so that is pretty typical this time of year, but not quite to those 40s we did have.
I feel like we've been talking cold and snow all morning. Let's give the folks what they want to hear. Yes. Is there any warmer weather on the way?
Why, yes, there is. Let me just push this here button. We'll show you the nice weather that's coming. How about that?
Yeah.
Some 40s that are on the way. We have to wait a little bit longer, but it does make its way in by the end of next week, and signs are pointing toward some pretty nice weather for the following weekend. So we just got to get to that point in the forecast, and continuing to see a trend to put some warmer than average temperatures across a large portion of the country, including for us as we're making our way through that first 10 to 11 days of February. So that's something to look forward to if you've not been enjoying what we've had here over the course of this week. We have some warmer weather on the way. Just have to have a little bit of some patience.
So is that Super Bowl weekend where we have the warmer weather?
That would be Super Bowl weekend.
Oh, that's going to work out for all the festivities.
Have your fun outdoors and then go in and watch the game.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, Jarrett, thank you. Well, happening today, Danielle Jensen will officially be sworn in as the next Douglas County Election Commissioner. Jensen was appointed by Governor Pillen to serve the remainder of former Commissioner Brian Cruz's term. It ends at the end of next year. The ceremony takes place at 2 o'clock this afternoon at the Election Commission office. Well, an unexpected sight on Lake Superior will show you the familiar face is bringing smiles on skates when First Alert 6 streaming returns. Welcome back, everybody. There has been a rare Elvis spotting on ice. Take a look for yourself, and it's an Elvis impersonator.
Oh, man. Okay, Adam Kittle is a performer who calls himself almost Elvis.
Okay.
He says being out on the ice provides some cold weather vocal training and brings a little cheer.
Things out there aren't great right now, so I thought wearing a jumpsuit in today's climate with the weather and everything going on might get a few people to laugh. I see people here that have smiled and give me a couple kudos, so that's why we're doing it.
Definitely looks cold out there. I bet he's cold. Whether he's not skating on Lake Superior, Almost Elvis performs at local venues around Marquette County, Michigan.
I want to hear him sing.
Yeah, me too. Hopefully he's good.
He does pretty good on the skates, though.
Yeah, he's hoping that the weather wasn't going to be too bad because you know what he said to Mother Nature?
What?
Don't be cruel.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
you had to do it. You had to give us one, right?
I'll knock that door down.
Blue suede.
Yep,
Okay,
there
we
you
can
go,
go on
there
and
you
on. Your blue team here. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get ready for our update in today's show. Of course, you can watch it here on streaming or over the air. Have a great day, everybody.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Thursday morning to you. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole. Let's get right to First Alert 6 weather and traffic with Jared.
And I've been watching for any issues that may pop up this morning after we had snow falling over the last couple of hours. Thankfully, that has tailed off a little bit, but still want to watch for some slick conditions that could be out there, particularly as you're heading along some of those bridges, overpasses. You can see that things are moving. We've even got some crews that are showing up in some of these shots that are working to continue to treat the roads. So hopefully that helps, but you do see a lot of people who are using extra caution and things are slow on a lot of our main roads. So first alert to that. JFK in particular is standing out as somewhere where we've seen delays that have been very present northbound all the way from I-80 back down to 370. So be ready for some extra time to be needed. I haven't seen much in the way of reports of crashes this morning, but it is the kind of morning where it may take you a little while to get where you need to go. Let's check in on where that snow stands, and it has gotten lighter this morning. This is what it looks like. Children's Nebraska camera as you're right around 72nd and Dodge. It's pretty cold too. 15 degrees, a little bit of a breeze, making it feel like it's 3. Cloud cover is plentiful out there and won't be going anywhere all day long. The most consistent snow has kind of shifted its way further south, but we still could be seeing a little bit of some light snow over the next few hours with more of flurries than anything by the time we get to the afternoon. 24 is all we managed for high, so a colder day than we've had, even colder tomorrow. Cerise.
All right, Jared, thank you. Well, 3 people are hospitalized after this crash on I-480. It happened near Leavenworth just after 8:45 last night. Omaha police tell First Alert 6 the crash involved a Toyota Camry and a Corolla. The Camry ended up flipping on its top. According to investigators, the Camry's driver was pinned and had to be extricated. The other 2 people were in the Corolla. Well, it is 7:28. We are back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. Be careful and have a great day.
Glow up's been crazy.